first one was actually Gavin Acuff.
No way.
Yes, sir. It was
Wow.
it was backstage at Rock the Country actually.
No way.
Yes, sir. We I met him through social media, and that's kind of how we got together and
Okay.
rolling. Yes, sir.
How most things happen.
Yes, sir.
These
Seems like
days.
it does that way nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Colby Acuff, thank you for being here today, brother.
Thank you for having me on, man. Yeah, of course.
I appreciate the time, my friend. You came to my neck of the woods, Charlotte. It's
Yes. Yeah.
cool. We got you out of Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, I
Out
feel
running
like
the roads.
normally that's how it happens. Like, if you want to, I got to come to other people, I feel like, because we're never in one place for very long.
Well, heck, I usually have to go places to film the podcast, so this is cool for me just to be able to get out and run around a little bit and be home the same night.
Fair enough, yeah.
Well, you recently released a new album that's out right now. I believe it came out last Friday, correct?
Correct, yeah, on the 3rd, yeah.
And this was a concept album too, correct?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of different records. This is my 6th record in 5 years, so been pretty prevalent in releasing music. Try our best to. And yeah, the original thought was we should just go talk to a bunch of people, and then that turned into, well, why don't we interview people? And then that turned into, well, if we interviewed a lot of people, maybe I could get individual stories from people. And then that ended up turning into, we went and interviewed 40 people, and I came up with a concept record that fit all 40 people essentially.
Not a lot of people are doing that these days. It's the last one I can actually remember was actually Sturgill Simpson's.
Yeah.
I cannot think of the name of it, but he did the last one that came out that I remember, and it's tough to do to basically make a whole album about that. So what was the thought process in doing that?
Well, I think the biggest thing was it starts with, okay, I want to make a record, and not having a plan for what the record's going to be. And so talking with my producer of being like, well, what do we want it to be? And then, trying to write these songs, and then the idea of, well, instead of trying to think about what other people are wanting or thinking, why don't we just go ask them? And then it's such a simple solution that I feel like, it's always right in front of you that you never do. And songs come from experience anyway, so to make a record out of an experience was cool.
Well, you mentioned going out and interviewing people. That's something that I've actually never heard anybody do, especially in country music. And that you might be the first.
Yeah, I was gonna say pretty quickly into this. I didn't even think about it until it came out. In fact, I was doing another podcast, and someone had brought up, I think this is, or maybe it was an article, I can't remember, but someone had said something along the lines of like, you might be the only person to ever actually do this. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe. Well, yeah. I think it is. Yeah.
Well, you might have started something, because I listened to it earlier on the way down here. I listened to it, part of it last week, and the rest of it today. It's really good.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you.
I love your style of music. It's you have a lot of Americana bluegrass mixed in there, which is really cool. I'm a giant bluegrass fan, and bluegrass seems like it's making a comeback.
Yeah,
which is really cool with Billy Strings and
absolutely
those people like that. The Creekers, they've been going crazy
phenomenally
lately.
Talented, yeah.
It's so cool, and like I said, I love your style of music. And being from Idaho, we were talking before the interview that's pretty prevalent up there. Bluegrass is.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I think I love country music, I love bluegrass, and I love rock and roll. And I think in all of our records, we lean on one of those things more or less, whether it is a little bit more bluegrass, or it's a little bit more rock, or it's a little bit more country. But when you put all three of those things together, that's kind of what you end up with my sound. It's somewhere in between all those things, So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the compliment. I think our sound it's pretty unique in the scene, I think, for sure.
It is, and you can essentially go any way you want with it, which is even cooler, because you have a distinct sound, but you also don't at the same time, because you can go so many different ways with it, with what y'all are putting, the instruments y'all are putting in y'all's music.
Absolutely. I've kind of struggled with this in the past, where when I very first started, I came out with a couple records, and it was a lot of like, who's this kid from Idaho? I was a fly fishing guide at the time.
Yeah.
And, I was putting out these records, and people would be like, oh, this new folk singer, coming out. And I'm like, I'm playing country. And then it was, oh, well, this guy, this new Americana singer coming out with a record. And I'm like, no, I'm playing country. And now it's like, I say now that we just play American music.
Well, Tyler Childress won an award several years ago, and he was like, he won an Americana award, and he was like, I play country music. I love this award, thank you, but I play country music. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the direct quote was, Americana ain't a part of nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's the direct quote on stage. But my thing is I understand why all these things exist, and that's totally fine, but that's also not my goal as to why I make things, is to be put in a box. So I definitely think it's one of those situations where, whether you, like, I'm trying to, get ahead of it a little bit, even though I'm a little behind, but saying that we just play American music, like, to me, that just kind of slates the whole thing. Label yourself before someone else labels you, essentially.
Yes. So coming out of Idaho, you mentioned that's where you grew up. What was growing up in Idaho like? It's because we were talking about this before the interview too. There's not other than maybe coming out of Bakersfield and that part of California, there's not a very, there's a prevalent music scene, but you just don't hear as much about it, being upper Midwest and that area.
Yeah, the thing about the Northwest music scene is there's a ton of music, but it's really eclectic. There's a ton of bluegrass, there's a lot of jazz, there's a lot of soul, there's a lot of country, there's a lot of rock and roll, a lot of good things out there. But the scene is, inevitably a lot smaller as far as going nationwide with it. But growing up out there was great. It's not where I'm from, at least in the panhandle of Idaho. It wasn't too dissimilar from, maybe kind of growing up in this area, like North Carolina, especially when you get into Western North Carolina, like around Boone and stuff. That reminds me a lot of home.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, a lot of pine trees, big forests, big mountains, a lot of fly fishing, duck hunting, elk hunting, deer hunting, a lot of outdoor activities. And I was fortunate. I grew up with a lot of music in the house, so that I think a lot of time, a few hobbies, and a lot of time goes a long way.
Sweet. Well, I love the story about how you got your first drum set. When I was doing my research on you about your dad buying it for you, well, that's pretty cool. He had to wait for mom to sneak out.
Yeah, Dad. He was a drummer in college, so he played in essentially a '60s rock and roll band in college, and he was a drummer, and I was playing piano for a long time, and he really wanted to get me into drums. I think and I wanted to play drums. I started piano when I was 5, and piano was cool when I was 5. When I turned 10, I wanted to bang on drums.
Yeah.
And so Mom went out of town, and Dad got me this little, kind of shitty drum kit, and I just be loud, and it was awesome.
That's awesome. He was wanting. He must really love it to get put in the doghouse over it and make sure you got it.
Yeah, I think
a drum set.
He was willing to, take any flack my mom was going to give, for sure.
I love it. You mentioned music was pretty prevalent around the house. Is it true you got on stage the first time when you were 11?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad actually got me this gig at this bar that it was called the 1210 Tavern.
The 1210 Tavern.
And it was a smoking bar. And
I bet your mom loved that, didn't she?
She did, actually. She loved it because this bar was awesome. But we used to call it the 60-40.
Yeah.
It's 60% smoke, 40% air.
that checks out.
And
oh Lord,
I played it a couple times, but it was my first gig ever. I played it when I was 11, and it was me and then this other guy who's a great harmonica player out of my hometown. He played with me, and it was just super fun. Yeah.
How old are you? I'm just curious.
I will turn 29 in 4 days.
I don't know anywhere that still has a full-blown smoking bar. I'm 21, and I've never seen anywhere that's got a full-blown smoking bar.
You can find them out west.
Really?
The West is a hell of a lot bigger than the South.
Oh, 100%.
And there's sometimes you can go 100 miles, not see another town, and you get to the next town, and there's not much there, and there might be a bar in there that smokes, and that unfortunately 1210 closed down. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. But they're around. There's still 2 smoking bars in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Dang. Did they pay you for that first gig, or did you just do it?
I think I got tips.
You got tips?
But then, I played when I was 11, but then I started my first band when I was 13.
Yeah.
And then, kind of had bands throughout high school. So, I've been doing it a long time as far as, playing on stage.
Cool. Well, I know you grew up doing a lot of outdoors activities. I love to fish. I don't fly fish very much, but I know you did it a lot.
Fishing's fishing.
Yes, sir.
Everyone starts the same, or at least you should. I think, I started dunking worms when I was a kid, and then I got into bass fishing, and then eventually once I did fly fishing, then it was over. That was it for me.
They love the carp fish around here. Is that any?
Dude, carp fishing's awesome, especially on the fly.
Really?
It's super fun on the fly.
I've never actually been carp fishing, but I know my grandpa loves it. He said the fight's crazy. I can't imagine it on a fly like
it's
that.
Great. I mean, anything you can catch on gear, you can catch on fly rod. It's still fishing. And you're fishing artificial baits just like you would for anything else. I mean, it's but it's kind of like bow hunting versus rifle hunting.
Yes, sir.
That's just like the only way I break it down.
Well, around here, and I don't know, honestly, I don't know really anybody that fly fishes kind of on the lakes around here like that, but up toward Boone, like you said, they do it a lot up there to trout. People go up there to trout fish all the time. They're in Virginia.
Absolutely.
They love it. I know you mentioned where you kind of grew up at. There's a ton of lakes and water around there.
A lot. There's like Coeur d'Alene, that area. There's like 40 lakes within 40 miles, and then not to mention the 5-6 rivers that we have around there. A lot of water.
That's crazy.
A lot of water.
Is it mostly trout, or is it a little bit of everything?
No, it's a bunch of things. I mean, I grew up bass fishing. In fact, Brandon Polnick,
I've heard the name, but I don't know
he's
about him.
Bass fisherman, professional. He's won Bassmasters a few times, and he's from my hometown. And but like the smallmouth fishing, the largemouth fishing, really the smallmouth fishing is awesome.
Yeah,
it's pretty unbeatable. I mean, there's 9-10 pound smallmouth in Coeur d'Alene Lake. It's awesome. But pike fishing's great. We got landlocked Chinook salmon. Grew up catching kokanee, and then trout in the rivers, and so really anything that you want to catch or do, it's there.
So as somebody that doesn't really fly fish, and maybe somebody listening doesn't, what goes into the difference between fly fishing and just normal bass fishing?
Well, I mean, I think fishing's fishing.
Yes, sir.
Right, and I think you can get into the weeds with both of them a little bit too much.
Yes, sir.
But like, for me, fly fishing is a little bit more, you got to know maybe a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
As far as just like, there's so many different bugs and like water temperatures and what they're going to eat and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of the same as, gear fishing, where like there are certain flies, that might work year round, just like, live bait works year round. Or, if you're going bass fishing, like, what are you not going to put a Cinco on?
Yep. So it's not like around here if you were to throw a piece of chicken liver on a hook and catch a catfish with it. A lot more goes into it than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, those fish I think people can give fish a lot too much credit. They are an instinctual thing, but they can get picky and they can get hard. And the biggest thing is, like, it's still fishing. A lot of people think that fly fishing is like this, like having a fly in the air, but I mean, that's just how you cast it. You can't catch it unless it's in the water.
Yep.
So, but there's a little bit more, I think, finesse to it is all I would say. But I don't think it's necessarily any harder or easier.
Cool. So I know you love to hunt too a little bit. Is it? Mm-hmm. I know you said duck hunting was kind of your main passion. Is it still, or?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, waterfowl, mostly bird hunting. That's kind of my jam. But where it really took hold was in waterfowl. I mean, that just, to me, it's nothing better than watching working the birds and then having a dog. I mean, that between working the birds and the dog, to me, that's, I don't give a shit about killing them. I just want to call them and get that dog running. Yeah.
Well, it seems like the luck that I lack in bird hunting, I make up for in big game hunting. We whitetail hunt a lot. Is you big game hunt any, or do you? I mean,
I've been on a lot of big game hunts. I'm not super into it. It just doesn't get me going.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and it's, dude, I tell people all the time, like, people that, oh man, I really want to go duck hunting. I'm like, why? Like, you're probably not gonna like it. You got to be half insane to like it, because you're gonna get up at 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Yeah. You're gonna go out there, freeze your ass off, sitting in the duck blind. We're gonna break ice. We got all these plastic decoys and stuff, we got to put out.
Yep.
And then, after we shoot all of them, I'd say 65% of people don't like the taste of wild duck.
Yep.
And you're gonna shoot something that's this big. Might be maybe a 5-pound bird if you're shooting big mallards.
Yep.
And then, you're just going to end up with these small little duck breasts that, no one's really going to care for.
A lot of people, they don't realize this. Duck hunting's a rich man sport.
Absolutely.
The money that people spend on duck hunting is absolutely insane.
The thing, though, is it doesn't have to be.
That's exactly right.
Because the other thing is duck hunting used to be, like when I was a kid, duck hunting no one duck hunted. It was huge in Louisiana, Arkansas.
Yep.
I know that. But like where I was from, not a lot of people duck hunted.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that people were putting money into. When you walked into a sporting good outlet store, there wasn't multiple companies that made waders.
Yeah.
There wasn't duck hunting shotguns. There was 4 call companies. There wasn't like all the stuff now.
Duck Commander and all that stuff.
Dude, we were hunting in Walmart.
Yeah.
We were hunting Walmart camo and Cabela's neoprene waders, and that was that. And it wasn't cool.
I've never heard of duck hunting being prevalent in Idaho like that. Is it?
Yeah, I mean,
it just doesn't seem like a major flyway that you hear about.
Well, I think the Pacific Flyway is got a lot more to offer than I think a lot of people realize.
Well, and I'm sure it is, but just between, like, you always hear people say, like, they hunt around here, they hunt on the East Coast, kind of toward the ocean, and toward we go to Whiteville every year, but then you hear about Louisiana. You just don't hear about the Pacific Flyway being talked about as much as other places.
I think between this year and next year, you'll hear a lot more about it, just
Really?
because well, this isn't my opinion, but it's also just numbers. I mean, no matter how you cut it, Mississippi Flyway is missing 500,000 ducks. That's a fact. The Eastern Flyway, it's a quarter what it used to be.
Yep.
And there's no more birds in Louisiana. I mean, Louisiana used to be specklebelly capital of the world.
Yep.
And you couldn't find one with a search warrant in the state of Louisiana. They're all in Arkansas.
Yep.
So, they got problems, in my opinion. And I know that a lot of other hunters down there feel that exact same way. And I think a big reason why you don't hear much about the Pacific Flyway is because no one wants to talk about it.
Well, if you've got a good spot, I wouldn't tell nobody about it neither.
Exactly.
Well, one of my dreams is to go to Argentina on one of those crazy duck hunts where you look up in the sky and it's black, basically, because there's so many birds.
Well, it's funny, man. I mean, that's how it used to be.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. So we got invited. I'm also running I have like an outdoor thing myself that I run, and it's called Fin and Feather.
I was going to get into that.
Sorry,
you're
fly
good.
fishing and
You're
duck hunting. We're starting the duck hunting this winter. It's our first year doing it, and we've gotten some offers to go do some stuff. We've talked to some guys that are running outfitters out down like in Mexico and doing that kind of thing. And what's so funny to me is you got all these guys, they've run duck hunts out of Arkansas, Louisiana, wherever, South Dakota for years. And it's like, oh man, we're missing these birds. Well, we'll just go to Mexico. And my thing is, I get that. I totally get it. But are we also not going to try and fix the problem? Are we not going to sit down and really talk about the numbers, the issues, where, how, why, when, what? Like, to me, I'd love to go do those hunts too, but I see the same issue. Like Argentina, Mexico, you go down and do those hunts. How long before
it turns into everywhere?
If no one's hunting Arkansas, Louisiana anymore, and everyone's trying to get down there and do that, and that's the new thing. I mean, and that is completely unregulated.
Yeah.
How long?
Well, it's like everything else; it'll be extinct before it's over. Damn near.
Exactly. And I mean, I think the flip side of that coin too is there is a ton of hope. I mean, I think a lot of people know what's going on. I think people are starting to talk about it. There's been a lot of duck hunters recently that have been talking about it. But I do think it's a cultural problem. Like in duck hunting, for me, all the pile picks and the pinwheels and all this stuff, like, unfortunately, the sport to me has gone to a killing perspective versus
enjoying the hunt.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, man, like if what gets you going when you go duck hunting is stacking birds in a pile and not working them and like hunting,
yeah,
you're just killing. You know?
Well, I was telling you about my luck in bird hunting lack, and I've never limited out on a day to this day.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not. I mean, the thing is too is it's, limits are fun and it's great, and there's nothing like, shooting 2 boxes of shells and taking a picture with your buddies after a really successful hunt. I get all that. I've been there 100 times, but you go out and you have I don't know, what's the difference between going out for 4 hours and killing 10 birds versus going out for 4 hours and killing 21 ducks? To me, it's kind of all the same.
I love doing it at the end of deer season after you've been sitting in a tree freezing all winter, and you get to go talk to the boys and talk junk and turn the heater on and move a little bit, which is a big change.
Well, and it should be fun.
Yeah.
It should be fun, and you should want to go again tomorrow regardless.
Yep.
And I think the other thing too, not a lot of people know, is duck hunting industry is as big as it's ever been.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about it. It's and it's always it's always been called the rich man hunt for sure. You can spend as much money as you want to on it. But that being said, there's fewer duck hunters than ever. There's only 1 million stamps sold a year. I mean, it's not like people are getting out of it.
Yep.
And the industry is bigger than it's ever been. So kind of.
Well, when you got people on the internet talking junk like, "Oh, this guy doesn't," if you don't have yada yada boat or spending this amount of money on a place, I mean, it discourages people from doing it, which is the sad part about it.
Absolutely. And I mean, dude, I bought a Lund aluminum V-hull boat, not even a John boat. We had a couple of John boats, like, just little tiny 10, 12 footers. But my first boat, I bought a all aluminum Lund V-hull, spray painted it myself, camo, and I had a 15 horse Yamaha, like a 1987 Yamaha on the back of it, and I ran that thing for 7-8 years.
The motor fell off almost.
Motor fell off. Using old decoys, we'd spray paint ourselves. I mean, we were doing these hunts for shells. Like, we were buying the cheapest shells we can get, and we weren't expensive duck hunters, but we shot a lot of ducks.
Well, that's all that matters in my opinion. I don't care if you walk out there if you ain't in a boat. Just
absolutely.
As long as you do it.
Like, you don't need all this top dollar stuff. I mean, once again, there's a great saying that my outfitter told me. I was tying flies one day, and we were, flies are a very. I think fly fishing can be really pretentious. I think that's like a bad thing about fly fishing. It should be very welcoming, right? It's just fishing. It's not that complicated. But you look at all these flies, there's all these hand-tied flies out of feathers and stuff, and most of the time they have too much material on them. They're too poofy, and like there's all this fluff and shit on them.
About that, some of them can get pretty.
Yeah, but when you're looking at it, it's dry. When it gets wet, all those feathers fold down. It's wet feathers, right? And the thing you got to remember is that these flies are tied for fly fishermen. They're not always tied for fish. You got to sell them.
Yep.
And that's how I feel the same way about the duck industry right now. Like all these new decoys and blinds and all this shit. Well, there's never been a better camouflage than brush, real leaves. There's never been a better decoy than something that looks like a duck that's doing in a good pattern. Like, you can get around a lot of this stuff.
Well, it's just like with deer hunting. I mean, you can put all the scent spray on you want. There's no getting around playing the wind.
Exactly.
It's the same deal.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about your new venture, Fin and Feather, which I watched all 3 episodes last night. It's really cool what you're doing. It's like it seems like you put more of the focus onto the outfitter than you do yourself, which people that have hunting shows, that's a rarity. So tell me about that passion project. It says that in the intro, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're doing it out of the kindness of our heart and the lack of time we already have. But I started noticing kind of what we were just talking about, where I didn't love where the outdoor culture was going. And what it was doing, when there's this big culture shift of like, look at what I'm wearing, look at what I'm killing, look at what I'm catching. Also kind of like giving spots away. A lot of this, I don't know, this new stuff, it's all for the photo. It's all for the, look at what I did.
For the mount.
Not about the story, not about the, or even the knowledge. I also watched something where fly fishing and duck hunting included. I've watched the industry and or popularity of these things skyrocket with the knowledge per user go down. Which to me, I'm like, well, in what world does that make any sense? Or, you can know 0 and still get the photo and no one will know.
Yep.
So when we went into it, I wanted to do a couple things. One, I wanted to try and be a counterculture to something to maybe get people to realize what actually is so great about these sports and why people actually end up doing it for a living versus doing it, as a hobby to try and, get eyes on you.
Yeah.
2, I really wanted to focus on the outfitters and the guides because I feel like so many times, a host will come in and be like, all right, tell me everything I need to say to the camera. The guide will tell him, then he just, regurgitates into the camera. And that doesn't really do anything for anybody.
Yeah.
So I want to focus on the people who use it every day, who know these things, and they have their own concerns, and I want to give them a platform to talk about it.
Well, I'm sure as a business, too, they absolutely love it, being able to get in front of people. Because, I saw on your thing, you've got 40-something thousand subscribers just on YouTube, and that a good majority of those people are going to see it. And what you were saying about wanting to be counterculture, you seem to really kind of take the meat eater approach, I guess, to it, bringing that aspect to it. And when I was watching, I was like, this seems like a National Geographic's and Meat Eater kind of had a kid, and that's kind of what your show is.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's art. We wanted to make a movie. We didn't want to make like a, smash, subscribe. We didn't want to make a vlog. We wanted to make these things short films, short docuseries based things, and we wanted them to look great. We wanted them to be an easy watch.
Yep. I was about to say the footage is absolutely gorgeous.
Ben Dunning, man. We're a one-man crew.
Really?
It's me and him.
I might have to steal him from you. He's good. He's really good. I was sitting there watching and I was like, I don't know what kind of money he put into this, but this is beaubeautiful.
Yeah,
the landscape and just how the picture looks.
Ben just does a great job, man. But yeah, we went into it with a common goal. I've known him forever, and he wanted to make films. So I said, all right, well, I've wanted to do this forever. So how would you feel about making outdoor films? He's like, I'd love to do it. So, it's a passion project by me, but it's also a passion project for him, something that we've both had a lot of interest in. But yeah, so far, like our first season, I've loved it. We got a lot more coming out. Once again, it's not the main thing that we do. So there's a learning curve there, but we're figuring it out.
Well, it's how many episodes are there?
So there's 3 out right now, but we have 8 fly fishing shot. So there's going to be 5 more coming out this fall through winter, and then we're going to end up with probably about 6 or 7 duck hunts this winter.
Cool.
So those will be coming out, late winter, spring. And then we'll do it all over again.
Are you going to film it like seasons, or are you going to just over time just kind of trickle them in, or just take a break in between seasons? What are we going to do with that?
Well, my big goal was to get a lot out the first year, and then then we can kind of get them out as we're going. That's kind of, in my theory, that's how we want to do it. There's no agenda really. There's no agenda or big release plan or anything. But we just put them out as we get them.
Cool. And you mentioned doing music and doing this. It seems like the outdoors has really become part of your brand just as much as doing music has. Was that by design?
Yeah. I think it's just by nature. I think there's only really 3 things I feel like I've ever been good at, and so those 3 things interwork themselves always. It's just duck hunting, fly fishing, and writing songs. Like those are the 3 things that I feel like I've spent a lot of time doing, at least. So
a lot of knowledge in those fields.
They're endless wells.
There you go.
So you can think anything and you don't know shit. So it's just the way
it's one of those deals. You can't never plan which way those ducks are flying. You can't never plan on what days them fish will bite.
There's always another hunt. There's always another fish, and there's always another song.
Yeah. So you kind of made it part of your brand. And when did you go hunting for the first time and go fishing?
Oh man. Well, hunting, I know, I remember my dad used to go on these big duck hunts, and he'd be like, well, when you get older, then you can go. And I would stay home and I'd clean shotguns. I'd just be anything I could do. I was painting decoys and doing everything I could at 6, 7 years old just to get dad ready to go. And then dad put me in a goose blind with a BB gun when I was probably 8, maybe a little younger. my first real hunt, I guess, I shot a turkey when I was 10. And then my first duck hunt, we used to hunt up in Canada. And so I got to go up to Canada when I was 11, and that was my first real duck hunt. It was a fun one.
Well, I heard you mention turkeys. Them turkeys are elusive, ain't they? What
I mean, hold on. I gotta say, the turkey hunting thing down here is crazy.
Yeah.
People love it.
Yes, sir.
And I get it. Like I do love turkey hunting, and we did a lot of it back home. But back home, I mean, they're like varmint.
Really?
They're everywhere.
Jeez. And
yeah, you can fill 10 tags, spring and fall.
What species of turkey are they?
It's a mix. So I didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it never really had occurred to me, until we went on tour with like Muscadine Bloodline. And Gary, from he's obsessed with turkey hunting. So I've had long conversations with Gary about this. And he knows everything there is to know. He knows 100 times more about Idaho turkeys than I do.
But you've lived there your whole life too.
Yeah, and I've hunted them my whole life.
Yeah, true.
But it's just because in the fall I just want to kill ducks. That's what I'm doing. But then in the spring, it's the only thing you can do, unless you want to go kill a bear. But we just go turkey hunting.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. Like one of my dad's best friends is obsessed with it. Like he's one of the down here people. When it comes to turkey hunting, they get transfixed.
Dude, it reminds me of elk hunting.
Yes.
Back home, people are but we have a mix of, I think it's Merriam's and Easterns.
Yeah.
So those are the two that we have. And, Gary was telling me the Easterns are obviously the hardest. They're like an elusive bird.
Yeah.
And, I don't know any different. But I've shot some nice toms. I've shot a couple 8.5, 9-inch beards.
Yeah.
Good spurs on them, a couple 20-pound birds, But and those we hunted, got them in. But I remember it's slow day duck hunting, just walk out of the blind, walk straight up into the woods, and we just go, shoot a turkey.
They say Mississippi's the hardest place to kill birds.
That's what I've heard.
On the East Coast, I had Trent Ellis on a while back. He's from Mississippi. He's pretty I asked him, I was like, you think they're the hardest to kill? He's like, absolutely. No, them in Louisiana. He was no hesitation. He was like, I think so.
It's just a funny thing to me. I love turkey hunting, but it was just so different. I can see it in people's eyes when I'm talking to them about turkey hunting.
Their eyes get that big every time you get them going.
They get real fixed on it, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I love the big game hunt, and there's people that love the turkey hunt. They just kind of deer hunt to pass the time to get back to turkey season.
Right, and that's how I feel about turkey hunting with duck hunting.
Yeah. When
duck hunting starts, it was, my buddies used to joke, okay, well, here comes duck hunting season, we're not going to see Acuff for a while. And I'm not kidding, I tried to hunt, it's a 63-day season, I tried to hunt 50 days, minimum.
Yeah.
Anytime I could. It was every day if possible.
That's how I am with deer hunting. I turkey hunt and fish and everything else just to get back to deer hunting. And
absolutely.
I've never went elk hunting, actually. That's on one of my bucket list to do. We actually started drawing tags a couple years ago to be able to get that chance. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, I hope you do. That's the big. If you're a big game guy, there's nothing better than a bugle and elk. That's the crazy one.
I believe Idaho, you can buy them over the counter too, correct?
In state.
Yes, sir.
But out of state, it's lottery.
Oh, still?
Yes.
Oh, dang, I didn't know that. I think we were looking at.
I believe. I could be wrong, but.
I have to look. I got it all on my phone. I think we were pulling tags for Colorado. Mm-hmm. Just putting in for there.
Yeah. The Idaho elk thing, it's, if you get in a northern Idaho unit, it's a totally different ball game because the forest up there is really thick.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, when they end up shooting them, you're either shooting them with a rifle from way distance with a 300 Win Mag situation on a clear cut.
Yeah.
Or if you're shooting them with a bow, most of the time you're shooting them at 7 to 10 yards.
That's crazy.
Because you can't even see them until they bust.
That's insane. How's the buck fever when that starts?
What do you think?
I imagine it's pretty bad. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah. No, it's terrible. People all the time. The other thing too is you get a big, because they're also so rutted out.
Yep.
And they come in just
testosterone
hot,
up.
So hot, and they're screaming and they're just raking everything, and you know, you can sit there with a bow at 7 yards and
I can't even hold it still.
Yeah, people shake all the time and mess it up. But the best of the guys stay calm and, you know, they get it done and then they let it all out.
Did you grow up bow hunting, or is that something you kind of took on later?
I never did it.
Really?
I've been on hunts with buddies that needed. I've helped packed out. I've done, you know, I just never cared to do it because one day of bow hunting is one day of not scouting or not sitting in the duck blind, not chasing those ducks, not repainting the boat, not getting the decoys touched up. You're not working on the engine. You're not training the dog. You're also, you know, on the other side, for me, fly fishing wise, the other thing I love to do is winter steelhead fish. So if I have a day off of duck hunting, if the ducks aren't there, I'm going to go steelhead fishing. Dang. And so that's just kind of, I mean, I've been on hunts with my buddies. Like, my buddies really wanted to get me on a deer. I just didn't want to go at all. And we go out, and there's this, you know, we're walking around. Here's this basket rack, pops up out of the brush, and I pull up on it, and I can just hear my buddy next to me just breathing real hard. And he's just, I'm like, man, you just want to shoot this thing? He's like, yes.
I love it. I love it.
Go ahead, dude. I don't give a shit.
Roll for it. This might be a dumb question, but I'm sure you got a duck dog, don't you?
I did. I don't now. I mean, unfortunately, with my current time schedule, the way my life is, I just can't get a puppy and train it. But I had the best dog probably I'll ever have. I got her when I was 15. I hunted her all the way through my early 20s. Unfortunately, she passed in July of 22. But yeah, she was incredible.
Well, hopping back into the music side, you mentioned your schedule being bad. You've got a hectic schedule.
Absolutely.
From what I've seen, the amount of shows that you played, was it, I believe you mentioned on an interview I saw you had like 180 something dates this year or something, or?
We were probably on the road for 200 and some odd days, but this year show-wise, because we took 3 weeks off in June.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine we might hit, 85, 90 shows this year. Last year, though, we played 100 and some odd shows. I don't know.
Jesus.
Oh, and we also don't play from Thanksgiving till February.
Yeah.
Mandatory break. Some guys, go through winter, but
you need a reset.
I mean, we go about as full as you can from February 1st to Thanksgiving. And man, that's a lot of time, and that's like last year we drove 96,000 miles. So it's not, it's whether it shows or not, when you put it into mileage and you look at the days, it's like, I live in Nashville now. This year from July 1st to today, I've been home, a total of maybe 6-7 days.
That's insane.
So,
Well, it's cool you give yourself a reset. Is that to let your voice heal, or is that just because you need the mental break?
It's for this.
Keep your mind right.
Yeah, you can.
Burnout's real.
People don't absolutely. August is, if your favorite artist is going through hell in August.
Is this the home stretch?
August is always hard because by September, October, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But by August, you've been going for 7 months.
Yep.
And it's really hard to see November.
It's just praying for it, it sounds
You're
like.
in the middle, and you're playing a lot in August. You're getting out of festivals. It's hotter than hell.
Yeah.
So for me, that's usually, like, August is usually when it feels the most constricting. But I'm really lucky. I got to give a lot of credit. My crew, the band, my team, everybody is phenomenal. They make the job super easy. I've had this band for 4 years. This crew we've had for 3 years, and it's the original band. It's all the same guys. We've never had a problem. Everyone gets along, and everybody knows that if I'm having a bad day, then they'll bring me up. And if someone's having a bad day, we'll bring them up. It's an absolutely phenomenal road crew.
Well, it's cool you got the family dynamic with your band too. It sounds like they're the boys, and
oh, absolutely, ride or die.
That's awesome. And I know you started out as an independent artist, but you've recently signed to Sony Music a while back, and you made the transition from Idaho to Nashville. What was that transition like?
Well, when we started, we were a cover band.
Yeah.
We played 3 hours of cover country music, and I was writing songs, but I would guide all day, get off work, go to the bar, we'd play, go to bed at 2 a.m., wake up at 5, go guide, do the same thing. 3 days out of the week we were playing. driving all over Idaho and stuff, playing these gigs. But I was writing music.
You're running off energy drinks.
Absolutely, like. Still am, dude. High mileage package. That's my life. And I wanted to cut a record because I wanted to sell a CD.
Yeah.
I didn't want to sell a CD of covers.
Yeah.
But I had all these songs, so I put it out, and it actually did a lot better than I thought it was going to do.
Yeah.
I remember I got my very first royalty check. It was like $300 after a year, and I was like, oh my God.
It might as well have been $1 million then.
Oh,
probably,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just the fact that I made a penny.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So then I was like, well, we'll just put out another one. And then that was, I put out If I Were the Devil, and that was like explode into the ether. Yeah. So then, that kind of gave me my opportunity to then chase it.
Yeah.
But when we were a cover band, we were going and going. We were still a cover band late into 23, a year after If I Were the Devil had come out. Like these venue owners out west, they didn't even believe that I had a record that had 20 million spins or whatever at the time. They were like, no, that's not.
Just didn't.
It's like, shut up and play Garth Brooks. I'm like, okay, dude. Like, I get it. But but then I got my record deal with Sony, and I was with Sony for 2 years. Actually, I just left Sony in December, so I'm back to being an independent artist.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So what was that like going from being independent to being with a label to leaving the label? What made you make that decision?
I mean, no, it's no ill will. Like,
yeah.
There's no I'm not going to sit here and slander Sony. They didn't really do anything they didn't do anything wrong. I think we've always been an independent artist group.
Yeah.
And I think, they just, for me, what do you do with a guy like me at Sony? And I think that's the question that no one got answered.
So it was kind of for creative freedom. Is that a stretch, or would that be?
No, more just like, you sign to a label, so you get a little extra change.
Yeah.
And so that they can pour gasoline on it. And I think their question was, what are we pouring gasoline on? Where, what?
So they didn't know how to market it. That's a better way to say it.
I think they didn't know what to do with me, is what I would say. I think I didn't want to do radio. I didn't want to, do that whole situation. I think they just kind of were like, well, what do we do? And I was like, well, here's the options. And came to find out that, those options weren't as viable with a label.
Radio's dying. People don't believe it. Spotify and Apple Music and all these platforms is where it's at. I tell people that all the time. It's like it's fading.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And I think my decision to leave inevitably was just so that we were already pretty, even with the label, we were pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah.
We didn't take a ton from the label. The only times that we really took from labels when we contractually got money from the label, essentially. So I was like, well, I don't really know what we're, what am I doing here? What are you doing here? I think it's just better if we split ways. And so we did. And I've also said this multiple times already this year, but I wouldn't say that, I'm against signing another record deal. I just wanted to be independent for another year or two and just see what that was like again. And it's been great. It's been one of the best years I've ever had. So
that's awesome. And you wouldn't take a big advancement from the label even when you would make a record?
No, because essentially
that's a loan.
Exactly. It all comes in forms of debt.
Yep.
And whether you're fully independent, great, you're going to go into debt anyway. You're going to be paying for all this shit, so it doesn't really matter. Like, it's either I'm paying for it now or I'm going to be paying for it later.
Yep.
And I will say, when you sign to a label, the best part of it is your rate on the loan is not good because you're recouping the money at the rate of the deal. So if it's 80-20 split, it's 100% you're paying back, and they only take 20% of that and kick it in. So you're essentially, for every dollar you make, 20 cents goes to you paying off whatever your bill is, and it ain't cheap.
Yep. Well, now you're back to funding it yourself. Will that be you think everything will be good for that?
It's way cheaper.
There's not a middleman.
Yeah, I don't think a banana costs $10,000, so that helps a lot.
I love it. So Enjoy the Ride is out now, and you mentioned you did all these interviews. How long did it take from the beginning of this process to putting the record out? How long did that take from doing the interviews to getting in the studio and releasing it?
So we did the interviews over a weekend. We just drove, stopped in the city, interviewed people, stayed that night, hung out with everybody, and we just were doing this for 4 days straight, essentially. And so we did that in December, I want to say, it's right around Christmas time. And then we cut the record in March.
Cool. And it's got a cool sound to it. And when my dad was asking me who I was coming to interview, and I was describing your sound to him, I was like, he sounds like it, like when I picture your sound of music, I think of like a montage in a movie of somebody traveling across the country. Mm-hmm. And like when they get from the Midwest, Kansas, just for some reason, that's when I hear your music, that's what I think of.
Yeah, I like my music. I would say that honestly, a lot of the stuff that we make is like fairly cinematic.
Yeah.
Like I think it really does paint a really good picture for people, like of what the song is supposed to be saying. And like I think we've done a good job, at least from the feedback that I have always gotten from fans or people that have listened to the music. I always feel like the songs are doing the job or the purpose that they were intended to do. When I write a song and you listen to it, it is somewhere in the wheelhouse of the same thing that I felt when I first wrote it. That means a lot to me. There's not a lot of misinterpretation there. I think it does a good job. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it is fairly cinematic.
That's awesome. And my favorite song you guys, Dying Breed.
Oh, thank you,
by
man.
far. That's been my favorite. Yes, sir. That's been my favorite ever since I heard it the first time. Like, if I were the devil, I like it, but man, that's my favorite by far.
I always say there's like tiers to the Colby Acuff fan experience, and when we go play a live show, it's like, okay, everyone's gonna know Devil.
Yep.
That's a given, sure. But it's like Dying Breed is always the song that is, if it's like Dying Breed blows the roof off, typically. Yep. Like that is everyone's, like you can be a fan of If I Were the Devil, but Colby Acuff fans
deep tracks.
They're in
that's
Dying
like a deep track.
Yeah, that's like Dying Breed is like the song. And then if you know, like When I See You Again, then I'm like, all right, now these are some pretty good fans. And then it's like Pines and then Outlaw and Me. And like there's songs that really resonate with the core fan groups. Yeah.
I mean, 30 Miller Lights Under the Bed. I mean, I heard the first time I heard it, I was like, that's it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I mean, I wrote it about myself. I mean,
yeah.
That's true. That's about as true as it was when I was, when I wrote it.
That stage of your life.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's still true.
Well, hey, we all partake a little bit on Friday and Saturday. Speaking of that, so you mentioned being on the road a ton. So when you're not playing shows on the road, what are you doing with your spare time?
Well, if I can, I'd like to get out and fly fish or go on a duck hunt. But if not that, I love, because I don't get enough time of it, I love being at home with my fiance and my dog and, tying flies, writing songs, maybe even playing little video games, just classic dude shit.
So you bring your rods and stuff with you? And
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just take a little rental car or something and go find you a spot? Or
yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll get hooked up with somebody, that'll take us out for a day, and they'll come pick us up and take us out. And
cool.
That's the thing.
I think it might have been Trey Lewis that said this. He was like, he brings one of those little kayaks, the motorized kayaks with him. He takes that on the road with him, I believe.
That's not a bad idea at all.
It's not. Do you play golf any?
I don't.
Really?
No, I'm sticking to my three things.
Boy, if the golf bug hits you, it'll hit you hard.
Yeah, I grew up golfing. I'm not a bad golfer by any means. I golf, once every year and a half, 2 years.
Yep.
That's kind of and I'll go out and, maybe I'll shoot 120. Maybe, like last time I golfed, I shot like a 96, 97.
Well, that ain't bad at all for somebody that don't play that much.
No.
I've about 3 years ago, the bug hit me bad. And I played there for a while. I was playing twice a week.
Yeah.
Just tearing the course up. Never did break 100, but I just played all the time.
I got a lot of golfing days when I was a kid. Like I said, I grew up golf. My dad loved golf. He wanted me to play a lot of golf. I was fine at it, but I get so frustrated, and it's just like, man, I'm not even,
Just kind of grew out of it a little bit too.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, once again, like I'm not too bad, but I just never know what direction it's going to go.
It's a tough sport. It takes a lot to be good at it. People don't understand. People that don't play it are like, oh, that ain't nothing. I go to Top Golf all the time. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but can you putt?
Yeah, can you? That's exact. How's your short game? Anybody can hit a driver.
Sure. Can you putt?
I've always screwed up. For some reason with a driver, I'm not good. I'm better at putting and chipping than I am driving. Half the time I'll drive with a 3.
Oh, I mean, if you can chip and putt, that's 90% of the game.
Yes, sir.
Like, I hit it really far. That's probably why I hate golf. Because, I mean, I can hit it really far any direction.
Yep.
Not always straight.
Well, I've been on the slice a little bit myself.
It just, I don't know. But no, I don't golf as much as, I know like a lot of people love golf, but I love watching football, love watching baseball, love watching hockey. and I love duck hunting, fly fishing, but yeah, I mean, I'm a man of many hobbies, I feel like, and I don't need another one.
I love my hobbies too, so I get it. Just because it's like, well, if you ain't having fun or doing what you love, then what's the point? And I know you mentioned you've kind of brought your passions and made a career out of all of them.
Absolutely.
With playing music and your hunting and fishing show, you just really made been able to carve a life out of your hobbies. Not a lot of people get to do that.
Well, I was totally willing to be a fly fishing guy the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
I fish every day. It's awesome. I'm always outside. I'm out of cell phone service, most of the time. This is great. And I was totally fine with that, man. I've always made hobbies a career. I think it's just because I get so obsessive with things. Like, I don't want to be sitting at another job thinking about my hobby all day. I just want to be doing that.
Well, there's people that struggle to make that, and the fact that you've made it, I'm working on making it. It's really cool. It's a cool feeling.
Yeah, you got to be just dumb enough to take that much risk. That's what I always say.
Well, I'll tell you one. I think not chasing dreams and not making that step has killed more dreams than anything. More than failure ever will.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
Oh, totally. I mean, failure is every day.
Yeah.
You should fail every day. That's kind of the whole. I mean, you can't do everything perfect. If you did everything perfect, you'd never move.
Yeah.
I mean, failure is the only way to step forward, I feel like. And man, I've made a ton of mistakes. I still make a lot of mistakes, but I've also learned a ton of things, and it's every day is another exciting adventure. And especially in this job, I mean, every day is very different.
Yes, sir.
And it's always exciting. So I do love the job.
Well, I think you've probably got one of the coolest jobs in the world. And I tell musicians that all the time. If I had a lick of musical charm, I would do it myself.
Well, there's every day I wake up, there's not much to bitch about.
Well, that sounds like a hell of a life, brother. Well, where can everybody find all your stuff at, all your socials?
Oh, man, I mean, if you want to, anywhere that you type in Colby Acuff, you'll see my ugly mug sitting there. You can click on that if you like and listen to if you want. And, man, you could even buy merch. And, yeah, there's unlimited things you can do. But if you just type up Colby Acuff anywhere that you want to listen or look at things, that's where I am.
I can't wait to see the rest of the episodes of Fin and Feather, the first season.
You,
I'm excited. It's a cool show. If you don't watch it for the outdoors, watch it for the cinematic effect.
Absolutely.
I'm serious. I went through all three and was like, holy cow, this is beautiful.
Well, dude, thank you so much. That means a lot.
Yes, sir, brother. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, dude, my pleasure.
Thank you so much, my friend. And thank y'all so much, as always. I appreciate all of you. Over and out.
See ya.